Hello, my name is Jonathan Wright, and welcome to my final PowerPoint presentation for EDD 753, Applied Qualitative Methods for Educational Leaders. Professor Dr. Belinda Karge, Professor, Doctoral Studies, Concordia University, and Professor Emeritus from California State University. My dissertation chair is Dr. Blanca Quiroz, and the two other members have yet to be determined. The quote I open with is really one that sums up my philosophy of education, and it was delivered by Bishop Curry at the royal wedding. Because when love is the way, we treat each other, well, like we are actually family. My dissertation title, The Role of Servant Leaders' Use of Video Production in Project-Based Learning to Create a Collaborative School Climate. My problem statement, currently, little research exists on the topic of video production as a public affairs tool on high school campuses. Research currently exists on project-based learning, and research currently exists on servant leadership, but none gives exclusive attention to how a teacher or administrator can use video production as a tool to increase student collaboration and motivation in the classroom and improve school climate. The researcher feels that video production is underutilized and its benefits as a transparent tool for learning and changing the climate and culture of the school is drastically underrated. The researcher feels if educators took the time to study practices found in public affairs in the Army, the field of education could benefit. The purpose of this study was to understand how servant leaders' use of video production using project-based learning theoretical framework increases motivation among students, teachers, and administrators to create a positive school climate. The researcher is an Army veteran with trained experience as a broadcast journalist known as a 46 Romeo. The researcher has adopted the curriculum provided in the military to his current video production class, a rigorous 18-week curriculum that teaches news writing, electronic news gathering, and core operations of a public affairs officer. Video production project-based learning gives the students, teachers, and administrators a chance to learn and understand how a public affairs officer creates a positive school climate. Teachers in the study were experts in both video production and English language arts and used their expertise to build curriculum units of study called Video Production Project-Based Learning that were adopted at 2 high schools in the district. Each unit contained priority standards with supporting standards, differentiated levels of learning, essential questions, and big ideas for unit focus. Additionally, performance tasks were included to provide opportunity to practice the formative process and build student skills, all of which concluded with a final assignment that assessed levels of knowledge gained in collaboration and building a positive school climate. And now for our questions. The primary research question: how did a focus on video production skills through collaborating affect students' abilities to create a collaborative culture? And now for 3 of the sub-questions. Secondary question 1, how does the implementation of the video production project-based learning curriculum impact the school climate? Secondary question 2, what factors contribute to the quality implementation of video production? And question 3, secondary question, what is the impact of video production on students' engagement and academic performance? For my theoretical framework, it is a little weak at this point, but I'm looking at it from a project-based learning framework. Project-based learning is more than just a teaching method. It's a revitalization of education for students so that they can develop intellectually and emotionally. By using real-world scenarios, challenges, and problems, students gain useful knowledge and skills that increase during their designated project periods. And servant leadership. Servant leadership is a philosophy and a set of practices that enriches the lives of individuals and builds better organizations and ultimately creates a more just and caring world. This study has several limitations. Results may differ from school to school. There was also a limited range of teachers involved in this study. Participating teachers were from one school district, thus results may differ in another school district. Results may be different at different schools. Variables could not be controlled. And variables like class size, student access to technology, technology availability per school site, the quality of teacher training, and the amount of teacher-administrator interaction. For delimitations, the researcher of this study implemented delimitations in order to focus on the specific aspects of project-based learning, servant leadership, and video production using the video production project-based learning curriculum. While the units of study were focused on teaching of specific news writing and TV production and public affairs pedagogy, specific content standards embedded within each unit were elements of 21st century skills. Participants in this study consisted of 2 video production teachers, 1 administrator, and 40 video production students. For this study, the 2 public schools will be referred to as Public School A and Public School B. 2 distinct samples comprised of 1 teacher, 1 administrator, and 20 students, each for a total of 43 participants. They were used for the qualitative portion of this study. Each represented a proportional sample of the high school students, and for each of the sample, 10 students were from the control group and 10 were from the treatment group. For the methodology, the researcher has embedded his video production project-based learning curriculum into this project-based learning methodology with the 7 characteristics of servant leadership. The case study enabled the teacher-researcher to look for better ways to integrate video production project-based learning curriculum into the classroom and the school with the researcher participants while simultaneously building a positive school climate with motivated students working collaboratively, digging deeper with digital. For my instrumentation, the researcher planning to develop a survey, but I'll have open-ended questions. For example, does video production enhance your ability to remember content? If so, please describe. Or another example, does the weekly newscast improve school climate? And then interviews with teachers and students. I might ask the students, how does video production project-based learning improve your collaboration with fellow students? Or I may ask the teachers, how do students' work improve school climate? In addition, for instrumentation, I plan to do a quasi-experimental post-test. Only design was used to ask participants to recall their beliefs about how video production project-based learning curriculum affected collaboration and motivation among the video production students. After collecting the questionnaires, 22 participants were invited to participate in a follow-up case study. In-depth interviews were used to further investigate the effects of video production project-based learning on school climate, teacher effectiveness, and student collaboration. For my data analysis, I'm going to be doing memoing, looking for categories and themes that connect the data. Also some open coding, being mindful of what themes may emerge, and then use some software program, maybe in vivo, for preliminary analysis to be determined. The study was conducted to examine the effect that servant leaders' use of video production project-based learning curriculum has on teachers and administrators' perceptions of student collaboration and motivation and school climate. The goal of the researcher was also to further examine administrators' perception of their school's climate. The researcher may arrive at a grounded theory, of what public affairs systems should be put in place at all schools throughout the district. This study was significant because it attempts to determine whether or not servant leaders' use of video production contributes to improving school climate and increasing students' collaboration and motivation. This study will also provide data that video production improves school climate. This study will determine how the use of video production affects student motivation in collaborative class settings, and the study will determine whether video production contributes to a positive school climate. And last but not least, the timeline. The timeline covers 18 weeks. The first 2 weeks would be used to train the staff in the video production project-based learning curriculum. And week 3 will consist of the pre-tests for the students, teachers, and administrators to gauge such things as school climate and to determine the motivation collaboration of the students. Week 4 through 15 will be the rigorous curriculum implementation of the video production project-based learning curriculum. Week 16, we will interview selected participants. Week 17, we'll develop a focus group, possibly for further testing. And week 18 will be the post-tests. And lastly, I would like to thank Concordia University for showing me unconditional love and treating me, well, like we're actually family. Thank you, God bless, and season's greetings.